Arka Debray. Arka is a sophomore at Jenks High School where he actively participates in Jenks Speech and Debate, TSA, Math Club, Science Olympiad, and High School Chess Club. Arka is someone that loves researching about psychological and neurological events and what impact they have on human evolution. Because of this, he came to his topic of procrastination, something that millions of individuals suffer with. With this talk, he hopes to open our eyes to procrastination beyond the lens of science. Ladies and gentlemen, help me with welcoming Arka Debray.
Let me set this. It is 11:53 p.m. Your English essay is due at 11:59, and your document is blank. Panic sets in, your heart rate tenfolds, and you suddenly realize that you've messed up. I'm sure we've all encountered something like this in our lives before, whether it is for an English essay or for something different. For many, the problem isn't that you forgot to do it, instead of waiting until the last minute. Procrastination, that tiny voice in your head saying just 5 more minutes until you don't have 5 more minutes to waste. In this speech, we'll go over what procrastination is, why we should care, and what we can do about it. Firstly, let's truly define procrastination. You see, it's not about knowing what to do. Most of the time, we know exactly what we need to get done. The problem is that starting a task triggers something uncomfortable. Stress, anxiety, fear of failure, or even the fear of not doing something perfectly. Instead of dealing with the task itself, your brain deals with your emotions. This is why procrastination is so confusing. You can be ambitious, disciplined, and actually care about your goals, and still procrastinate. But why is that the case? Well, let's explain some of the psychological factors that make up this issue. Because what is a time management hassle for you is a bloody war in your brain with one clear winner. You see, procrastination is essentially a battle between two parts of the brain. The prefrontal cortex, or the part that's responsible for setting long-term goals and planning, and the limbic system, especially the amygdala, which is the part that responds to emotions, stress, and thought, the catalyst for procrastination. When a task feels overwhelming, the emotional reaction overpowers the rational thought. And there's actually a reason for this. From an evolutionary perspective, this system helped us stay alive. It prioritizes speed over logic when necessary, for example, when fending off a predator. Unfortunately, societal development hasn't exactly worked well with evolutionary psychology, and the system that kept us away from danger then is keeping us from getting work done now. So now we truly understand what procrastination actually is. A psychological system that's become a bit too obsolete for modern society. But why should we care? Is procrastination actually that bad of an issue? Well, for most of us, the answer should be pretty clear, but just to highlight the importance of this issue, a PMC article says that 25% of the population regularly suffers from the effects of procrastination, with that being true for 98% of adolescents. Another article by Ed.gov finds that even though procrastination is known as a serious threat, most students either don't consider it a problem that needs fixing or don't think it can be fixed. And finally, a study by Study Mode finds that approximately 45% of students have experienced declines in grades and academic performances due to procrastination. This goes on to show the reach of procrastination and the devastating effects that it has on society, and especially students. So what can we do about this? Despite the prevalence of procrastination, there are some solutions to mitigate these effects. And in this speech, we'll go over 3 of them. Firstly, we have time blocking. Break your schedule into chunks dedicated for certain tasks. For example, between 4 and 4:25 p.m., cry, and between 4:25 and 5 p.m., start writing. Time blocking gives your brain a clear schedule, meaning you don't have to waste time and energy figuring out what to do next. In fact, according to a 2025 survey by Debray, organized time blocking improves productivity People using it regained 1 to 2 hours of focus time daily and experienced 30% less decision fatigue. To add to that, a PMC article finds that structured time management also improves task satisfaction and well-being, reducing stress, which is linked with the reduction of procrastination. The next method is the Pomodoro technique. For this one, work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. As a scientific blog by Pomodoro explains, this system takes advantage of your brain's reaction to urgency, referred to as Parkinson's law. When that 25-minute timer starts ticking down, you force your brain to act as efficiently and effectively as possible to get the task done in the given time block. Unfortunately, your brain can only handle so much. Focusing so long at such an accelerated rate will cause your brain to burn more glucose, deplete energy storage, and cause mental fatigue. That is why the 5-minute breaks are implemented, giving your brain enough time to recover and rest without losing the flow. And finally, we have the just rule. This one is very simple. Just tell yourself you only have to do the task for 5 minutes. No commitment needed, no overthinking it, just begin. What happens next? Well, chances are you keep going. This is called the Zygarde effect. According to a simple psychology article on this phenomenon, your brain hates leaving tasks unfinished, especially when the momentum from doing and getting accustomed to that task kicks in. This ensures that you will be able to start a task without your emotions controlling you, and that you'll actually want to continue going after those 5 minutes. So those are 3 ways that you are able to tackle procrastination on your own. However, it is worth mentioning that for some people, procrastination isn't just a habit, but a symptom. An article published in Deconstructing Stigma titled Why We Procrastinate explains that procrastination can be indicators of mental health conditions such as ADHD, OCD, depression, and anxiety. When procrastination is so constant, overwhelming, and emotionally paralyzing that it starts to interfere with basic life responsibilities, it might be worth talking to a professional, asking a professional to look into it. PMC recommends cognitive behavior therapy, while other mental health articles, such as mentalhealth.com and Healthline, also expresses the benefits of talking to a professional or seeking therapy. So, going back to the beginning, what have we learned today? Well, procrastination isn't just a flaw in your brain, it's a psychological system that is rooted in a very human trait, our emotions. We delay not because we are incapable, but because our brains are trying to protect us from discomfort. With that awareness, we have the ability to work with our brain rather than against it. Whether you implement time blocking, Pomodoro, or simply start for 5 minutes, these systems work as they align with how our brains naturally operate. So don't wait for motivation to appear. Take action now. It doesn't matter whether you start small or start imperfectly, just begin. The rewards and the relief will come sooner